So in today's class, we'll be talking about blood and body fluids and circulation. Okay, so what is blood? Blood is fluid connective tissue present in blood vessels, helps in the transportation of oxygen as well as nutrients to all different type of cells present in the body. Okay, and blood has two different components. If we talk about totality, blood has two different components known as plasma as well as blood corpuscles, blood cells. Plasma is liquid, a fluid. You can relate it with water, okay, and it has some different solutes present in it, and it is 55% of blood is plasma, okay, and remaining 45% is blood cells. So first of all, we will be talking about plasma. In plasma, 90 to 92% is water. Water. That's it. Remaining 8% in it has some solutes, and the solutes can be proteins. In the majority, it is proteins. There are three different types of proteins, which comprise of about 7 to 8%, and remaining 0 to 1% in decimals. Definitely, there are some micronutrients. So, very first thing is about proteins. Three different proteins are present in the plasma: fibrinogen, globulin, and albumins. Fibrinogen, the function of fibrinogen is in clotting factor. It is one of the clotting factor. It helps in clotting of the blood. Remember when you get a wound and blood oozes out from there, and suddenly it stops. Naturally, it stops. If it doesn't stop, blood will carry on going and flowing outside the body, and it is definitely harmful to us, the situation. So in our body, there is a defense mechanism for that. There is a cope-up mechanism for that. If we get a wound, it definitely stops after some time. How it stops? There are different type of clotting factors present in the body. There are 13 different type of clotting factors. One of them is fibrinogen, which is also present in blood, which is definitely present in the blood, and this fibrinogen helps in clotting, right? Blood stops. Okay, so second thing is fibrinogen, globulin. Next one is globulin. Globulin protein helps in defense mechanism of the body. As we all know, like all the antibodies, they comes under globulins, like IgG, IgM, IgD, IgA. Okay, so all these different type of antibodies, immunoglobulin A, IgG, okay, Ig represents immunoglobulin. They comes under globulin. Okay, they helps in defense mechanism. It helps in creating immunity to a specific antigen. This is very simple concept. We'll be talking about in later on in this topic. Okay, so now the albumins. Albumin, the third type of protein, it helps in osmoregulation of the body. Okay, if okay, next topic is, we have talked about plasma. Plasma has some micronutrients, as I was talking, and micronutrients are like chlorine ion, we have calcium ion, sodium ion, potassium ion. All these different type of ions are also present in blood, in the plasma, dissolved in plasma, and they also have hormones. Sometimes hormones, definitely we know that hormones directly flows in the blood, and through blood they are carried away to the distantly located organ. Okay, so definitely hormones are also present in a very minute quantity in the blood. Okay, and also enzymes are present. So this is the very first thing, plasma, we have talked about. Next topic is blood cells, blood corpuscles. There are three different type of blood cells: red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Red blood cells, we can also call it as erythrocytes. It is Latin word. erythro means red, and cytes means cells, red blood cells. So they are enucleated. Very first thing we should know about red blood cells, that they are enucleated. They helps in the transportation of oxygen as well as carbon dioxide. Definitely we'll talk about it, how it happens. Next thing is they have hemoglobin present in the cytoplasm of the cell. Hemoglobin molecules, definitely 500 to 1000 hemoglobin molecules are present in each and every RBC. And in hemoglobin there are 4 different sites which helps in which are occupied by oxygen molecule. 4 different molecules of oxygen can bind at one time to a one hemoglobin molecule, and it then get transported to different sites, to different type of cells, to all the cells. Okay, so RBC enucleated, they have hemoglobin, they are red in color. Because they have hemoglobin, hemoglobin has Fe part, Fe2 plus, which is iron. Okay, and that is why due to presence of heme part, it is red in color. That is why RBCs are red in color. And next thing is about white blood cells. White blood cells helps in defense mechanism. There are different type of white blood cells. We have eosinophil, basophil, neutrophil, lymphocytes, monocytes, macrophage, mast cells. All different type of cells are present under white blood cells. Now the question arises, why all these different type of cells comes under white blood cells? Because they do not stain red. Simple. These are cells, they do not stain red. Majority of the cells, 70% stain red. The remaining cells do not stain red, comes under white blood cells. And then we have also platelets, the third different type of cell. Platelets, these are not cells, these are cell fragments, cellular fragments. They do not have nucleus, they just have a small plasma membrane and a cytoplasm in it. That's it. Helps in clotting. But these are formed from a big cell called as megakaryocyte, and from a megakaryocyte in the bone marrow, these cells are formed, known as platelets. We'll be talking about it in a small duration of time. Okay. Now, eosinophil, very first cell. Eosinophil is present in the blood in a small amount. If we are talking about only white blood cells, suppose white blood cells are 100%, then eosinophils are only 5 to 10% of all the white blood cells. They are only present in the blood in a minute quantity, but when the number goes high, it means a person is suffering from a helminthic infection, a worm infection. Whenever there is an infection from a worm to a person, the eosinophil helps in protection from that worm. Okay, so when we check our blood, when we check how many cells are present, cell counting when happens, okay, it directly indicates when we find that eosinophil number is high, it is a direct indication that a person is suffering from a helminthic infection. Second type of cell, okay, another thing, eosinophils, they have granules present in the cytoplasm. Okay, and eosinophils, they are stained from a stain called as eosin, because eosin helps in okay, next topic, helps in helminthic infections. Okay, preventing helminthic infections, and if helminthic infections occur, it helps in phagocytosis of that helminth. Okay, next type of cell is basophils, and in basophils they also comes under